Hey, yeah, what's up? This is Cycle Martial Occurrence Rain back up in this anti-Illuminati all day, anti-America all day, anti-cop all day, and everybody with them, yeah. So this video is going to be about the Native Americans being the most blameless ethnicity, almost the most blameless ethnicity among civilizations. There is probably not too many, a handful of other races that are on the level of being blameless that the Native Americans are. You definitely can't. White people, the white tribe, if you will, is the most blameful race on the earth. Right or wrong? When we talk about sins, blames, faults throughout history, we would have to say that the European tribe is the most blameful tribe as far as how they have done humanity overall. After that, you would probably have to say African Americans, or as far as the specifics and geographics, because they're now killing each other. That's a specific. This is something that everybody's desensitized to, but there's nowhere in the globe. This is what you need to look at when it comes to black on black violence to really wake you up. There's nowhere in the globe where there's a continuous race of people killing themselves. That's a 7. I mean, show me. I challenge you to show me. Show me somewhere else in the earth where people are killing each other at the rate that they are killing each other. Show me somewhere else. Why everybody talking about they the chosen ones? Show me somewhere else where another ethnicity opposite of them are killing each other at the rate that they're killing each other here in America. And unfortunately, they represent Africans. Unfortunately. And all Africans are not like that. See the difference between me and you is I can differentiate Africans from African Americans. They're not one and the same, baby. And you know this yourself. You know, you've been around Africans and you've been around African Americans. Okay, as far as that specific ethnicity, African American, they would have to be second place in being the most blameful ethnicity in the earth. Now, let's look at the Native American man. He hasn't enslaved anybody. He isn't killing his own people. He's been wronged from the very beginning. White people came here, Europeans came here. You got the Trail of Tears. That's one event that happened where they dragged Native Americans across the country. They killed their kids. Thanksgiving is when they killed more Native Americans. The events goes on and on. The list of events goes on and on. They took his land. So some people would try to compare Native Americans and African Americans. Let me help you understand something. It's one thing to come and be enslaved on the land, which is wrong. But that is another thing to have your land taken from you and you have nowhere else to go to identify as yourself. That's a 7. Well, African Americans can go to Africa and identify with their bloodlines and families. What are the Native Americans going to do? They have nowhere to go. This is their land. Where are they going to go away from America? Huh? They have nowhere to go. This is their land. And it became, and you know what's worse? It became the greatest country in the world, which is how would you feel if, which makes it worse? How would you feel if the land that was taken from you becomes the greatest land in the world? That's a 7. How would you feel if your land, the land that was raped from you, becomes the greatest country in the world and you don't really have a part in it? How would you feel about that? While you sitting up here talking about what black people going through, look what the Native American went through. He doesn't even have a land to identify with that is not Americanized. He has to identify with Americanized land that once was his land. Now he's on a reservation. He can't go about freely. He doesn't probably want to go about freely. Why you think that the African American has been the most wronged race in the world? That's ignorance. First of all, African chiefs sold us into slavery with the transatlantic slave trade. Other Africans helped us get here. Keep that in mind. That's why you're still crazy now. I know you don't like it, but it's true. We ain't never been for each other like that. Let's keep it 100. We have never been from each other for each other. If you look at history, your nature has never been. We have never been for each other. We sold each other into slavery, for crying out loud. That's the history. Okay? So why you wondering why we are the way we are today? Because we always been like that. When you can sit up and sell your own people to a foreign people, to foreign Europeans, you don't really care about them, do you? Well, you don't care about their well-being, do you? See, like we gotta, before the end of the world comes, the record has to be set straight. That's a 7. I know you thought it was gonna be set straight talking about my life, my one little history. No, we're gonna talk about everything. We're gonna talk about how America is marrying children. We're gonna talk about how nobody knew about it. Like you act like you the best race in the world, whether it's white people or black people. You act like those two are the best race in the world. The Native American man is almost the top blameless race there is, and he's still here humble. You don't hear him out here protesting. You don't hear him out here trying to fit in with your community. Now, do you? Does it look like the Native American man trying to fit in with Americans? Is he crying, talking about this is my land? You don't see him doing it, do you? You don't see him doing it, do you? He's used the greatest wisdom there is, while you sitting up trying to fight to be equal with the Europeans. All of you non-white people, you're trying to fit in and go where he go. You're trying to live in the houses he live in. You're trying to live on the land that he live in. You're trying to go on vacation where he goes on vacation at. You don't see the Native Americans doing that, do you? They could care less about cars, houses, and all of that. He is one of the most blameful ethnicities there is on the earth. The original Native American tribes of America. Yep. And you thought, and all these white European African American sympathists who sympathize, you thought they was the ones that's most downtrodden, didn't you? Yeah, because they made you feel that way. But take a look at history. For all you white sympathists, take a look at history. First of all, we sold each other into slavery. So if you want to talk about sellouts, we were selling each other out from the beginning. That's a 7, Al. We were selling each other out from the very beginning, whether you or them like it or not. Number 1. Number 2, the Native American is one of the only ethnicities that does not have a land to identify with away from other ethnicities. The Africans can go to Africa away from other ethnicities. The Europeans can go to Europe away from other ethnicities, for the most part. For the most part. Where's the Native American gonna go away from other ethnicities on his own land? Where's he gonna go? Didn't see this coming, did you? And you acting like you've been wronged the most, and y'all sold each other into slavery from the very beginning. Tripping hard. And you white man know he can't. He know he can't say nothing. He know he done messed up. He know he done messed up a million, billion times, trillion times, probably a trillion times. He can't even compete when we talk about the most blameless ethnicity in the earth. Oh yeah, tribes do have stains. Tribes do have real history. Unlike you alter ego people that that like to sit up and make up histories and ignore histories and try to act like this didn't happen and try to, do nothing about what happened. The Native American man is the most blameless, one of the most blameless ethnicities there is. What have he ever did wrong? Okay, he may drink. We all know that. But that's his own vice. He's not hurting you drinking. That part. He's not hurting you. What has he ever done to you? He could be raiding your communities. He could be a savage to your communities forever. He could have been a savage for a long time, since the 80s. Like Western movies. You always gotta watch out for them. That's how they make Native Americans look anyway, like savages. Look at the movies. Now he could have been like that in real life. Well, look what you did. Look what you did. He could have really been like that, But you like to paint the picture of him like that. And he ain't never been no savage to you like that, has he? In fact, let's look at the real history. You was a savage. The European tribe was a savage like that towards him. Running over hills, getting him. Running over hills, bothering his family, slaughtering his family. But you try to make him look like a wild savage on the movies and the Westerns. That's a 7, Al. Yeah, you didn't think I was going to wake up on this one, did you? Black people done mesmerized you, your community, like they the most downtrodden and most wronged ethnicity. The Native American is the most wronged ethnicity. You can't even compare. You can't even compare when your own people sold you into slavery. How you going to compare to that? That part, how you going to compare yourself to that man? Your people responsible for you being here. That part. That part. Yeah, that's the part they leave out in the slavery movies. Oh, they leave out the part where the African chiefs sold your family into slavery. They left that part out. Convenient for them, though. Convenient for them to leave that part out. You know why? Because they want to paint the picture like the European tribe did it all by itself with those big endowed men, masculine men. How he going to take all them and put them on a ship without any resistance? That's cartoonish. That is cartoonish. That's like a cartoon. How is he going to take masculine men, Africans, 6'2" easy, most of them on the average? Even the African women were aggressive. How the white tribe gonna just come over there on his land, on his grounds, where he got more weapons and everything, and just overtake him? Use common sense. He had help. You didn't think about this part. The combat between the two races. Oh, it was no war? Why how it happened without a war? You didn't think about that, did you? Oh, so they just went over there was no war. That's a 7. Well, we don't hear about the wars, do we? We don't hear about the wars between European and Africans, and then they didn't win, and then they became slaves. We didn't hear that part, did we? Because it didn't happen like that. You know how it happened? African chiefs, leaders of their own people, sold their own people that they were supposed to be leading into slavery. That's how it happened. So how you gonna act like you downtrodden? I mean, I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, you still are to blame for your own situation as far as ethnicity goes. Even though it wasn't you per se, it was your forefathers. It was your own blood. You were betrayed. Let's put it like that. By your own people. And until you accept that reality, hear this part very closely. And until you accept that reality, guess what? You're going to be sitting around thinking the white man did everything and thinking y'all just love each other naturally. That's a 7. Well, if you loved each other naturally, then why did the African chiefs sell us into slavery, sell our families into slavery? Well, I guess he didn't have a lot of love, did he? I guess he wasn't bubbling over with love, now was he? Guess not, huh? I guess he wasn't simmering like a pot of stew with love, was he? Nah, you got to keep it 100 because people make it seem like African Americans is a perfect race. Nah, it's people like that. And they act like everything wrong happened to them, and it's just they victims all throughout the world and all throughout everywhere. Well, then how are you a victim when your own family, your own leaders sold you into slavery? Sold our families into slavery. How are we victims? No, we were betrayed. That's what that's called. We were betrayed by our own people. Oh yeah, you need to hear it like that right there. That's good right there. That's the sweet spot right there. That's the sweet spot. You were betrayed by your own people. That's how this got started. That's how this got started. You were betrayed by your own people. Just like now. Ain't no different than now. We still betraying each other. Like what? Like I don't know no better. But you've been doing it. So it shouldn't be no shock if you know history. It shouldn't be no shock to you if you know history. You should not be shocked by it. Huh? Because we got to stop. So, see, and you'll say, well, what's the reason for bringing this up? So that you can see the nature of our people. So that you can stop acting like, oh, we just some Nubian people and we just got raped and taken advantage of and we just love each other. We just misdirected. We just done chose the wrong way. But if we get on track, we'll love each other. Well, we had a chance to love each other and we was on track over there in Africa and the African chiefs sold us into slavery while we was on track. In our own country, minding our business, he had to mess it up. That part. The leaders now, not wayward rogue Africans that became their own sect. No, leaders sold you into slavery, sold your family into slavery. So you need to know this so you know the nature of humanity as well. Ain't none of us pure, ain't none of us righteous as we project ourselves to be. When you can see that clearly, when you can see we clearly sold ourselves into slavery. We sold ourselves into that part. Need to hear it like that too. Because what you want to do is blame the white man for everything. That you can't do it. You can't do it. We got to take responsibility at some point for black on black crime and for the real history. You can't blame the white man for you shooting and killing each other. You talk to people long enough, that's what they're going to do. Well, you know, if the white man wouldn't have done this and how these guns got down here was by the white man, you know, he the one made it all. He the one put all this path in front of us to do these things and become destructive. That may be true. However, when are you as men and women going to take responsibility for your own lives and stop using excuses? You don't do it when you come to money. Well, I'm broke because nobody gave me opportunity. How long you gonna say that? Until you get up and get some money. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. How long you gonna sit up and say, well, we like this because of that? And take responsibility and become better. How long you gonna do that? Meanwhile, the Native American man is the most blameless ethnicity. Almost the most blameless ethnicity besides people on remote islands. And island people. They're some of the most blameless people too. All the islands throughout the world. People that were on islands, and some of them are the most blameless people too. Islands all across the country, remote islands as well. They're some of the most blameless ethnicities, whatever ethnicities they may be. They're some of the most blameless people. They're not connected to continents. Therefore, they're not connected to real wars. Many of them are subject to wars and are victims to wars that live on islands. They got to go with whatever goes on, defend themselves the best way they can, I imagine. But we gotta understand something. The Native American man, as far as America goes, is the most highest ranking when it comes to being blameless, flawless. He is the most blameless man, flawless man, ethnicity there is here in America. You need to tell these children that. Because they sitting up acting like, well, they've been beating us up the most. Well, now you beating yourself up the most. How about that part? And what's the excuse? Okay, it's one thing to defend something like you're doing, but it's another thing to accept reality of facts right in front of you. Okay, you like to defend yourselves, but let's see you accept your real history, which is you sold each other into slavery and you killing each other right now. Some say you ain't missed a beat. Okay. I don't know. See, I keep it 100. See, this is what being free really feels like. I'm not owned by nobody. I'm not owned by Americans. I'm not owned by black people. I'm not owned by white people. I'm not owned by anybody. I can speak totally as I want to speak. I am only owned by the kingdom of God. That's it. So I don't have any fear like you do of, ooh, I might be rejected. Ooh, they might not like me. Ooh, who will I identify with? That's your worries and cares. I don't care about none of that because I'm a man of God. I'm a prophet of God. I can be with God. I can be with the Lord. And until you get like that, you're going to be sitting up brown nosing your own people. Whether you be black, white, or whatever else you are. You ain't telling the truth. Are you? Well, you ain't telling this part. Where African chiefs sold Africans into slavery. The sellout was you from the beginning. Literally. I mean, if you're selling an African, isn't that selling? So you're selling them out, right? To the white man to get in on the Atlantic Ocean. You literally sold them out. That part, 7, Al. You literally sold them out to the Atlantic Ocean. I know you don't want to hear that. You don't want to hear that. But that's the facts, whether you accept it or not. Anybody object of it? Okay then. The Native American man is the most blameless and flawless here in mainland America. This is his land. First of all, it was taken from him. It was taken from him. He has nowhere else to go. Unlike people who believe, he's part Asian and he could, so you think he can go to China. You think he can go to any Asian country because he has ethnicity. His ethnicity roots go back to Asia. Whether that's true or not, he was here. Okay, this is where you found him at. You didn't find him in any other country. You found him here. He identified with this land. That's a 7. And you took it from him. And you all claiming it. And he's sitting back looking at you. And you notice he ain't saying nothing. You notice the Native American man ain't saying nothing to you. He don't care. You see him trying to join your sports? You see him trying to join your movies, singing? Do you see him trying to be a part of your culture? You don't, do you? Not really, do you? You notice that? You don't see the Native American trying to fit in. You don't see him trying to be a part of your community. Do you see him doing that? Do you see him? Do you see him? Why you still trying to fit in? Why you still trying to go where white people go? That's why I learned. I took wisdom from the Native American man. He didn't try to fit in. He you know what he did? Instead of trying to get rights to vote and rights for this and rights for that in the early times here in America, you know what he did? He just separated, took the land, and stayed in his own lane. He didn't try to come back out here. And guess what now? Guess what now? I'm going to say it like that. Guess what now? Guess what now? The white man got more respect for him than any of the rest of you. You know why? Because he didn't try to come and follow the white man, knowing the white man don't love nobody but himself. All the rest of y'all trying to follow behind the white man. The Native American man didn't do that, and as a result, he got more respect from the white man. Well, look at it for what it is. He got more respect than all of y'all now, because he stood on his own and he didn't even try to follow the white man. He ain't try to go live where he lived. He ain't try to go get the cars he got. He ain't try to vote in a racist system that ain't gonna help him anyway. Why are you trying to vote and you know it's racist? And the more you go back, the more it didn't make really sense to me. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it subconsciously, it indirectly helped us get free here, but the actual act of voting, what could it have done in a racist system that never was for us and was corrupt anyway? They ain't never been right, so why you voting for them anyways, in other words? It ain't never been for you, so why you voting for them? Man, you're looked at as a project. That part. When they can easily free you, they can easily give you what you need. You're looked at as a project, an unfinished project. At that, you're an unfinished project sitting up voting for them. The Native American man he's not interested in any of that. You notice that? You ever seen really any Native American politicians? You haven't, have you? They're not interested in this community. That's the wisest thing he did. And guess what? One of the wisest things he did, and he's got the respect of all of you. I don't know any black people and white people that don't respect Native Americans. I don't know any Asians that don't respect Native Americans. I don't know any Hispanic or Latinos that don't respect Native Americans. Yeah, because it's supposed to be like that. And you know what you're supposed to do? Right along with that respect is realize he's the highest ranking here. That's a 7. Oh yeah, you respected him, but you think you the best. You respected him, but you still think you on top. See, white people and black people, they got complexes like they the best. They got the best complex. The black people think they the original man and all of this. Well, while you're original man, I guess our forefathers were not enlightened enough to not sell you into slavery. Now, was he? Well, he's the original man. He should have had a better plan. He should have had a better plan than selling you into slavery. And white people, come on now. Like I said, you think you're superior to everybody else. Well, then how come you don't have the disciplines? How come you lack empathy and apathy, both of them? You lack the ability to put yourself in other people's shoes. You can see black people and other races in poverty for decades, and you don't have no sympathy and compassion for it. So how are you superior as a human being when you don't feel like a human being, when you don't act like a human being? You act like an animal preying on other people. You act more like an animal. So how are you superior human-wise? That's a 7. You ain't superior to me. You walk around here like an animal. Preying on people, taking resources, raping people, raping communities all around the world. How are you superior to me? Make it make sense. You're not superior to me, buddy. You lack empathy and apathy. Go look those words up. Empathy and apathy. Yeah, the same traits of serial killers. By the way, yeah, serial killers lack empathy. They lack emotion. They lack the ability to feel from their hearts. That's what you all become. You've all become influenced by the white European tribe here in America. You're all starting to lack the ability to feel and put yourself in other people's shoes. But it started with him. He was doing it from the very beginning. Slavery, everything else, raping the land, taking the land from Native Americans, bringing Africans here, 2 different races. Come on. When you went beyond one race, we now see that you have a problem with treating humanity right. It's not just the Africans, it's the Native Americans too, buddy. Boom, ow. You forgot about that part, didn't you? Yeah, you forgot about that part. You thought it was one race you had to make amends with. It's 2. And the one that you're trying to make amends with the most ain't the one you should be trying to make amends with the most. You should be trying to make amends with the Native Americans the most. Beyond casinos and beyond reservations. Yeah, I know about the casinos. It ain't enough. You raped them of this land. Right here in the Manhattan, if I'm not mistaken, the acres was less than 10 cents. The acres of Manhattan sold to the white tribe was less than 10 cents an acre. That's rape, bro. That's rape. Yeah, there's different types of rape, and I'm going to get into that in other videos too, because you think it's only sexual. Oh, there's different types of rape. When it's against your will, it's rape. It's rape. When it is against your will, it is a type of rape. If you're putting people under surveillance, you are raping their atmosphere. That's what you're doing. I don't care if you're black people, white people. If you are eavesdropping and you're around somebody's